John Foster, thank you so much for coming in the Inner Edison Podcast. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Amazing how we can talk to somebody anywhere in the country, but the one thing that keeps us down is the internet and the speed and the Wi-Fi and everything
Yeah.
else. Yeah. And you still there?
Sorry, we lost it for a minute.
Yeah, and it'll be fine. So just keep going, because
Oh,
it's recording out. And what people don't understand is these programs record on both sides, and then they send the packet over. So you just keep talking, and it will keep going. Okay.
gotcha. Okay.
All right. So Inner Edison Podcast is about our greatest accomplishments come from our greatest defeats. And how long has the middle school MBA been going? Did you hear me?
No, I lost you mid-sentence there.
Yeah, this is bad today.
Let me see if I can switch to a different. I got a.
All right. So here's my question. I know you didn't hear it last time. My question was, how long have we talk about our greatest accomplishments come from our greatest defeats. I don't know your whole story right now, but how long has the middle school MBA been going?
So as a business, as a startup, it's been going for a little over 5 years.
Okay.
I actually started developing it and teaching it probably 10 years ago. But we've within the last 5 years, we've made it available to other people.
So let's back up a little bit. What was your background and what have you been doing prior to that?
Well,
Because
prior to that, so my going all the way back to college, I studied engineering and business, and then I did a 30-year career in industry, running plants, starting plants, running businesses, and doing corporate strategy. And along the way, I volunteered with Junior Achievement. That's a big nonprofit that teaches business in schools. And so as a Junior Achievement volunteer, I just kept adding to what they had to their curriculum, and one day I just had my own curriculum. I just started teaching that, and then I was walking to class one day, and I said to myself, "Why am I teaching 14 kids? I can teach 14,000." And that's when we middle school MBA came to life, and I built the tools that I always wanted to have, and made it all accessible on the web, and here we go. It's been about 5 years now.
so when you go back, so over the 30 years and you're probably dealing with individuals, did you this would be better if they learned this in school? Is that why this all started?
Well, it was kind of an Adam Smith. Why are some countries poor and some countries rich? As I traveled around the world doing business, there's such a drastic difference. You'll be in Morocco, and there's some woman who's standing in the field minding six goats. And you're like, is this the best you can do with this woman? I mean, six goats. And so you ask yourself those questions. What's the difference? And it turns out that people run their economies differently, and the results are just drastic. So that was why I said, people need to understand this. I'm kind of a slow learner myself, and so it took me a while to piece everything together. But then once I did, I was like, okay, now I know how to teach other people. I got this now. So that's why I started. I had experience in classrooms with kids. I realized junior achievement itself was started because the people's understanding of business is so abysmal. It's adults, not just children. People have very little grasp of it, and so that's why junior achievement started 100 years ago. And I just figured we could do a little better.
Gotcha. Because one of the things I run into is I'm in the mortgage industry, and there's 47 million millennials coming to the market this next few years, and over 50% of them have no idea about financial literacy when it comes to buying a home. And so I wrote the book last year, called Financial Freedom: Building Personal Wealth Through Home Ownership, and it's all about that education. The same thing I've been doing my radio show about for the last almost 6 years, is educating people on why they should own in those whole. So this is stuff they don't teach in school. that they should teach in school that they
Right.
haven't taught in school. I mean, to the point today, they don't even teach wood shop, auto mechanics, metal, any of the stuff that they used to have when we were younger. They don't teach that stuff anymore.
Yeah, and we're really poor for it. And it's a shame because none of these things are so terribly difficult. One of the things, the biggest hurdle we have when we go to a school and say, "Hey, you can teach advanced business and economics to your middle schoolers," they go, "What? We don't teach that." And then the teacher says, "Oh no, that's over my head. I just can't do it." But once we show them the curriculum and they see how it all works, they're like, "Oh yeah, I got this." So it's not so terribly hard to do. It's just that nobody's really putting their best foot forward and going after it.
But do you think that the schools these days are a little bit different, though, that a lot of them in certain areas, they have their own agenda that they want to teach versus that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. There's a lot of competing priorities. I know here in where I live, sports is just enormous, and I'm all for sports. I've done sports my whole life, but I don't think it should be the very center focus of your academic life. And then, of course, there are many other agendas that people have, and it's like it crowds things out. When people ask me, well, how do we fit this in? Where we have a full day already. I said, well, just go look at your curriculum, identify the thing that you think you get the least from. What class is that? Is it drama? Is it art? Is it, you got a million of them? And then compare that to middle school MBA and say, suppose my kids were learning business and economics instead of whatever X. And when you look at it that way, it's a slam dunk. Well, of course, we'll get rid of this one and we'll put you in. So, it is quite full. People get comfortable with what they're already doing, and then, like, a lot of professors who've been lecturing for 20 years have more or less given the same lecture 20 times as opposed to, building a better and better course over the 20 years. And so there's a lot of that. It's easy to fall into. And so we're sort of disrupting things a bit.
How many people are enrolled in this, in the MBA program?
We reach between 1,000 and 2,000 kids a year at this point. And, that's not the 14,000 that we went for originally, but it increases all the time. We're on the way. I'm fairly happy with our progress so far.
What's the biggest holdup?
Really, it's what I said before, in that it's not taught today. I mean, it's insane we're teaching 12, 13-year-old kids stuff that a lot of people don't learn in graduate school. Price structure, capital structure, how the business cycle works. And so, it's never been taught in middle schools before. And there's not it's not like we're coming to schools and saying, look, here's a better mousetrap for this material you've been teaching, because they haven't been teaching it. It's not us. You can't really bring somebody a mousetrap if they don't realize they have mice. Right. And that's kind of our situation. They're like, well, we don't understand the need for this yet. But once they do it, business skills are life skills. And so we're teaching kids how to interact with each other, how to, we do negotiating exercises, and they learn ethics, they learn tactics, they learn strategy. And they also learn that, okay, you're going to negotiate with this other person. When you make a deal, you have to execute that deal, and you might have to live with this other person for 10 years. You better not make an enemy of them, so get what you want, but don't make yourself an enemy in the process. So there's a lot of social skills. There's a lot of just realizing common sense and how to apply it. And kids love it. You know, they're just naturals at this. It's competitive, it's fun. People screw up all the time. They make big mistakes. Everybody laughs. It's like every class gets. They end up with this sort of class lore around middle school MBA where Johnny lost his butt to Sally in a negotiation, or whatever happened. You know, something funny, and they refer to it again and again, and it just becomes part of their just part of their culture.
Why did you pick the age group that you went with?
Well, you know, that was kind of trial and error. I originally thought we would teach high school kids. You know, I said, you know, we're going to take college or graduate level stuff and teach high school kids. But then we kept finding out that we could do it younger and younger. You know, you start with 11th and 12th grade, and then a 10th grader is there, and then somebody asks you to do it for some 9th graders. And I mean, we've had fourth graders take middle school.
Wow.
In fact, this past summer at one of our summer camps, a dad wrote the principal and said, I'm so tickled to see my fourth grader learning things that I didn't learn until I was in my own MBA program, and I was 30 years old. So we've just found that that's a real sweet spot. The classical educators call that the logic stage, in which, you know, prior to that, kids are just memorizing facts. They're learning, you know, that the sky is blue. But when they get to this age, they want to connect all their facts. They want to understand systems. They want to know how things actually work. And of course, that's what economics is about. What are all these connections across the entire social system? And so they're hungry to understand it. It's also, you know, one of the amazing things, it took me a while to figure this out, but kids kept asking me, why is this class so fun? That exact question. Why is this class so fun? And my response was always, shut up, kid, we're not here to play, you know, get back to work. But as I thought about it, you know, this exact question, I said, there's something going on here. And what it is, think about yourself as 12 years old. You live in this world where there are commercial transactions all over the place. It's like a Star Wars blaster fight, right? They're just boom, 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 boom. There's all these transactions flying around. They don't make any sense. They're just one-off events, and it's confusing. But when they see the whole picture and understand these transactions in context of businesses and an entire economy, all of a sudden the world makes sense. And that's really comfortable because their job is to grow up and be an adult and get in that world. And they know it. You know, you don't have to tell them. It's innate. You know, it's their DNA is saying, become an adult, get ready, get in this world. And so we show them how that world works, and for their vocabulary, for them, when it feels good, they say, oh, it's fun. That's the words that they have. But what it really is that they're finding this comfort and this understanding of this world. It's not nearly so chaotic as they thought it was.
All right. And so now that we have they're learning all of this, so there has to be, is there just one curriculum for all the way? Because isn't it from, I forget the age you had on here. What
11 to 17.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is cool. This is another neat feature that we developed. The problem with your typical online education is that if I'm sending you something across the web, I have no idea who the student is. And typically what you get is, kids sit in front of a device, they read a paragraph, they answer a question, they click next, right? Everybody hates that. That's boring on steroids. And it's not really terribly effective. What we do is we don't go to the kid, they don't have a device. We go to the teacher. We do a mind meld with the teacher. So we bring the tools and the information and everything the teacher needs to the teacher. We've made it clear and simple. So we give them this nice paved path that climbs the hill. and then they take their kids up that hill at the proper pace. So because you have a teacher in the class who knows every child and what are their capabilities and what do they already know, we come in super, super high, and then we count on the teacher to bridge that gap and bring the kids up. And that's why we can do 11 to 17. It's all the same stuff. This is, again, graduate level stuff. Teachers say, I can't believe now I understand this now. I've always wanted to know this. And, now I finally do. And I want to teach my kids, but it's the same stuff. It's like if we were teaching physics and we're teaching the laws of motion and conservation and blah. It's the same law. It doesn't matter if you're 11 or if you're 17 or what. It's just a matter of, is there a low enough rung on the ladder for you to get on? And are the rungs spaced such that you can make it your way up the ladder? And so that's what we do. We give them a ladder that's easy to climb, and then the teacher takes them up that ladder at the optimal pace.
What's the typical time period for them? Because my question was at 11 to 17. So if they start at 11, are they done? They don't have anything else to do all the way to 17, or is there added stuff each year added to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. They only need to do it once. You can do it in 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade, whatever, and they're good. You've given them all these concepts. We do have schools that repeat it and say they get more out of it every time. So when you take it in the 6th grade, you may get 70% of the concepts. When you take it in the 8th grade, again, the second time, then you can see some deeper things. And in all the lessons, we have room for the teacher to go further than what they have to just to be ready for the following lesson. So there's a lot of extra material that they can do. And it lends itself very well to project-based learning stuff. So a lot of teachers do spin-off with various projects, and that adds a lot more time. But just to get through the core curriculum, it's 30, 35 hours depending on. So it's typically a typical 6-week thing for 1 hour a day for 6 weeks. But again, yeah, take it a second time if you want. Go deeper the next time you do it. Combine it with another with a big project for kids to build a business, or you can take these concepts and apply them many more places. Teachers tell us that they use middle school MBA concepts in all their other classes, in English, in history. They're still talking about this stuff because, again, economics is life. When properly viewed, economics is how people interact with each other, and not, instead of being dry and boring, it's exciting. It's like it's a drama that's playing out, and so when you sit down with somebody else and they say, okay, I want $50 for my bicycle, and you have to look them in the eye and say, I don't think this is a $50 bicycle. I was really $30. That's and the whole class is watching. It's like it's a cage match. It's like everybody loves it.
So you teach them negotiations, is what you just said, right?
Yes. Yeah. So when
parents get upset afterwards because they negotiate whether or not they have to do their chores. And
yeah, you're right. The only complaint I've ever gotten was, do you think you could teach them to be a little less good at negotiating?
I believe it. Well, I mean and I learned that from my mom. She did estate sales and other stuff like that, and I'd watch her how she would do certain things and walk away and other stuff negotiating, and I picked it up. It's easy.
It's easy, but we don't do it in our culture. Culturally, Americans just don't negotiate. And it's one more thing, like we said before, it's not that tough, but you need a low enough rung to get on the ladder, and you have to understand what the structure of this whole thing is. And then once you get on and you can kind of start doing it, then you can progress and practice and get much better and apply it everywhere else in your life. But Americans typically, we just don't. We think that the price. Heck, when I go to McDonald's and they say, okay, that'll be $7.42, I say, well, would you take $6.59? I mean, I
And they
always
laugh at
negotiate.
you, right?
Yeah, they laugh at you. It's a joke, but I actually tell kids that they should do that sort of thing, so that A, you get comfortable making a counter offer in real time with people, and B, you're not you're not deflated when they say no, when they laugh in your face even. It's like, yeah, I was kidding. But it's really, really good practice.
Yeah, I can see it because I think it's important because I mean, the only ones I don't like is like, I negotiate with what I do, but I'm talking like if you're on Facebook and the marketplace and people go, will you take, they just throw this ridiculous number out there. That's not negotiating. That's just,
Yeah. And so we teach them that. We teach them, how do you analyze the entire situation? How do you analyze what your opponent is doing, and come up with a proper anchor to show up with, and also what to do when somebody does the wrong thing to you. When somebody comes to you and gives you a ridiculous, okay, well, how about 3 cents? And we teach them how to reject an anchor, how to reframe that and say, is that really what you meant to say? I think what you really wanted to say was like $3, wasn't it? Or I don't know. Tell me. But anyway, you don't recognize something like that. You tell your other person, look, why don't you try that again? You're not even close. And doing that without alienating them and without making anybody mad is really part of the trick of keeping the thing going. If you really want to see a pro, go watch some Lebanese dude negotiating with somebody. They're just phenomenal.
Well, I just, it depends on what where you are and what you're doing in life, right? You're not going to go to the store and say, can I get these carrots for, so much per pound, but like there's other places you can do that at. So,
Yes. And it's more than we think. And even at the grocery store, we should realize that, when the sign says carrots, $6 a pound or whatever, that's negotiation. But that's take it or leave it, right? They've made you a take it or leave it offer. Right. And so you take it or leave it. But when they put them on sale and say, okay, how about $3? Now they're negotiating with you. You didn't go for $6. And so they're trying again at $3. But they don't want to make that permanent, that price. They just want to clear out the carrots and then raise the price back up to the normal price, But understanding how this whole game works is just so helpful for functioning in the world.
I think it's a class you should teach young adults on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the teachers tell us. In fact, I had a teacher who told me, so look, I had my own personal negotiation to do with the school, and I used the things that I learned in middle school MBA. I got everything I wanted and more. And I just said, look, don't tell the principal I had anything to do with that.
I'm just saying there's so many people who could use it because they didn't learn it in school, and now you have this program you can. I know you with internet, you're nationwide, but are you really focusing in your area? Where are you focusing at?
As far as geographically?
Yeah, geographically.
Oh, yeah, we're all over the world. We can drop into any school in the world practically overnight. That's part of the magic. So we have, we have schools around the country. We have schools in Europe, Australia. I was on the phone for 2 hours yesterday with a group in Kenya. We're training up a bunch of teachers there in ultra low cost public schools. These are schools where the parents are paying $5 a month or something for the kids to go to school there. And, in that case, we're because we deliver across the web, we can get in there and actually compete and provide the best, the most advanced curriculum on the planet to kids in schools with no floors and no electricity. I mean,
Wow.
it's incredible.
It sounds that way. I think it's a good program. Have you written a book yet? Besides a curriculum book
Well, yes,
about
but
this
actually,
program?
it was a novel. It's a novel about Cuba. It's not a nonfiction book about middle school MBA or teaching kids.
It's like, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book that came out. Maybe you should do a book. Maybe I could get it through more people find it that way. Hey, this is what I created and what I've seen over my history and go through the different things. Just an idea. I'm just trying to think of other ways.
That's a great idea. I should probably knock out an ebook at some point and at least have it out there.
Well, I mean, it's so inexpensive to publish yourself these days on Amazon. You could get it done pretty inexpensively and have it on Amazon. I'm just saying it's another way then you could go, besides coming on the podcast talking about this, you could come on the podcast talking about a book. Oh, by the way, I do this university for kids and this is what they need to learn because nobody learns it. That's why I wrote this book, kind of thing. Because that's what I do with my book. My book is about helping people understand owning homes because, during the downturn, all the millennials saw their parents lose their homes. And so they were like, I don't want to own a home because it's a horrible investment. I saw what it did to my parents, and that is the wrong thing to have. And that's why I started my radio show. And that's why I wrote my book. And that's helped out a lot for me to help these people understand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's important for people to know how to navigate that part of life because the crash, the 2008 mess where so many people lost their homes, if you structure your finances and your stuff correctly, you can ride those things and you don't end up holding the bag or losing your house or
unless you lost your job and both people lost their job, then they didn't have a choice. But you're right, on average, then it doesn't affect you as much. But that was a unique situation to where the industry took it into a financial crisis because of the programs. But why I think going forward, we were never going to have those programs again. So we don't have to worry about that. So we need to teach people that this is how, because people are not going to be able to own a home. As these values keep going up and up and up, people are just not going to make enough. And then you have AI coming out that's taking over a lot of the lower end jobs. That's going to happen. They're going to have to. So there's a huge stuff going right now that's going to affect down the road people owning homes.
So how do you see that playing out? Obviously the home prices are crazy high. Interest rates are up at 8% or so.
We're down about 7 now. We're down in the 7s, and for FHA and government, we're in the 6s, but still it's high compared to what we're used to.
I mean, the cost, the payments someone makes have I'm sure doubled versus 3 years ago.
They're about $1,000, anywhere between $600 to $1,000 more a month.
And so do home prices adjust downward for that? Or
in a typical market they would have, but the problem is we don't have inventory. Your supply and demand that you teach in your book, I hope, in your course. If you have a great demand for the supply, what doesn't happen? It doesn't go down. It's when it goes down when there's no demand for the supply. We haven't built homes because of the downturn that happened. We just didn't build enough homes, and we still haven't built enough homes. So we're so far behind. We're about 17, 18 million homes nationwide short. California alone, we're 2.8 million homes short. And it'll take us 20 years to potentially catch up. And then we got a pandemic babies coming at that point for all the babies that were born during the pandemic to start owning homes. So,
right.
Yeah, so unless we can figure a way to build these in factories and have factories all over pumping them out, we're not going to get caught up for years. So,
wow. Yeah, that's a vexing problem.
It's a horrible problem. Unless you own real estate, then it's a great problem.
Maybe we need more people to go into construction.
We're 650,000. Yeah, we're 650,000 short in trades right now.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time in schools sort of discounting the trades,
Hmm.
and I think that's coming to bite us now.
Well, high schools don't teach auto mechanics, auto body, welding, wood shop, any of the stuff that used to be there. They don't teach anymore. Those little trades where you could go out and do stuff. We have one high school here that still builds a home every year,
Wow,
but
that's
no,
cool.
yeah, but that's Downey High School. Well, that's unusual. There aren't many places like that. But we have it where I don't know if I said this on this one, I've been on so many of them, but we have a place in town that Builders Association that is for they are trade association, but they are there to help women get into trades, and they'll even give them scholarships to learn to get into trades because that's how bad the trades are. 650,000 short, and the only way to fix it is to go with women. And I'm not saying that go with women like that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's how bad it is. Women don't want to get into them. Well, they're trying to tell them you can make so much more money going into trades than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, it can just be kind of tough for a woman to pack a square of shingles up a ladder onto a roof.
But there's other jobs. They can make 80 grand as a manager started off,
Oh
or
yeah,
this or
okay.
that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many things they can do. And you're right, not all of them, but I mean, a lot, they use other things now these days to get that stuff to the top of the roof. So it's
Right,
not,
right.
yeah, because I mean, a lot of people after years can't do it anyway. But there's a huge need. And because everybody in trades is in their late 40s, early 50s. So they got another 10 years and they're retiring. They're done. And so a lot of these
Right.
plumbers, everything, plumbers are, charging so much money because there's hardly any of them left. I mean, they're
Yeah,
around, but
right.
not like they used to be. And because nobody's coming in those trades, and it's shocking. So if we don't have 650,000 that we're short, we can't build homes, we can't build trains, we can't build, everything we need to build, that we just can't do it. We don't have the people.
Yeah, and meanwhile, a lot of kids are going to college, racking up huge debts for degrees that are far less employable than the trades.
I
So
looked at
I think
I looked at a
we've
lady's
directed
numbers. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was you staying on the debt. Well, I looked at a lady who's a massage therapist out of Napa, and she wants to buy a home. She has $150,000 in student loan debts. And you're a
Mm,
massage therapist? What the heck? Did
what
you
the
help
heck?
one of your kids go to school? And that's, what I mean? That's just ridiculous. Nobody needs to rack up that much money to get a 4-year degree unless it's a nursing degree or a doctorate or a doctor's,
Right.
becoming a doctor. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. You don't have to go to that school. That's just,
Yeah, we really diverted a lot of our labor force in the wrong directions in the past couple of decades, and somehow that's got to get sorted out.
yeah, I think so too. John, thank you for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think it was great talking to you. I enjoyed giving you the rundown on middle school MBA. You can, if you want to see more, you can go to middleschoolimba.com. That's our website. There's a lot of information there. If you, one of the cool things is like if you want, we're a for-profit company. We sell middle school MBA on a subscription basis. But if you have a kid in school, you don't have to pay for it. You go to the school and say, look at this program. I want this for my kid. And then the school lines it up, and your child and all their classmates get it. So it's a terrific way to improve your child's education without expending anything. I think there are a lot of good features that allow you to. I believe that all education is going to go this way. This platform that we built, we're doing business and economics, but once this thing is functioning everywhere, then we're going to say who's the best history teacher in the world, and let's plug their stuff into this platform. So it's really different than anything else that people are using, and I would encourage people to check it out and put it in your schools, man. It's the best thing you can do for your kids. As middle school.
Have you hit up any? I know we were leaving and you're saying all this great stuff, but have you hit up homeschool situations?
Oh yeah. We do homeschools.
I'm just saying because homeschool would be huge for this. because
Yeah,
yeah.
the problem is from our side is when we sell to a brick and mortar school, we sell 20 copies or 40 copies every year after that. Whereas with a homeschooler, you sell one copy and that's all. And I love homeschoolers, but it's hard for us to market to them because of that, but we can't afford to put the resources into marketing to homeschoolers.
I thought isn't there like a homeschool association they have to go through to do all this?
Well, there are various homeschool associations, yes, and their homeschool curriculum guides and stuff, and like we're Herzog Corporation. They have resources for homeschoolers, and we're on their list. So we're out there like that, but
Okay.
but we're not out beating the bushes, every day and going, where are the homeschoolers and attending.
I know, I understand. I'm just curious because it seems like that would be one, because they have a lot of extra time.
Yeah, it's beautiful for homes. The other thing that's so super cool is that kids see their parents go to work every day and they come home and it's all just a black box. But once they learn, they've been through middle school MBA, they understand what their parents are doing. They understand why they leave and what their day is like. And parents say, we have a new channel of communications now. We can talk to our kids about things, about P&Ls and about debt and different things that we couldn't before. And so we actually have conversations that we just didn't have before. And it's really brought us like closer together.
That's good. I think that's important, because I think that's not, again, like I said, it's not taught in schools and we need it taught again. So I'm glad that you came up with this program. Thank you so much. And thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, my pleasure too. And thank you for being here, and make it a great day.